Hello and welcome to Main Street Matters by Heart on Main Street, the podcast that will prepare you for the robot revolution. I am your host, Patrick Kaiser. Okay, we are back. For my avid listeners out there, I apologize for missing last week's episode. There was just a perfect storm of things going on. I fell behind in some work, there was sickness running through my house, and of course, our AC system finally died during some record-breaking hot days for May in Chicago. So an extremely noisy, busy, and exhausting week meant that something had to give, or at least one thing, and unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to write a script or even have a quiet household to record and get an episode out. But I am making that up to you today with an absolutely amazing interview that I had with Vilkaitis of Crystal Media. Crystal was recently a guest on the Main Street Matters webinar where we talked about how retailers can use AI to make their lives more efficient. AI has been such a hot topic recently. Everything from capabilities of AI, which seem almost endless, to potential regulations around AI, which are probably necessary. It seems like every company is developing some sort of AI feature. There are new AI companies popping up left and right. You can't turn on your TV without seeing a commercial for someone's AI functions. It is everywhere. And there are a ton of capabilities for retailers to utilize within their business. Crystal mentions this in our chat, but I really think this is a great equalizer between independent retailers and larger brands. Forever, the great disadvantage that independent retailers have had is that they don't have the staffing to do so many things, to write social media posts or other copy, to plan marketing, make videos, take pictures, write product descriptions, respond to reviews, analyze their business, and do so many other things. Well, now, with the click of a few buttons and a good prompt, anyone can have a free or very cheap assistant who can churn out this content in a matter of seconds. You can have a marketing team, a business analyst, a photographer, a videographer, a website designer, all in one for a year for less than what you'd pay for one person's day's worth of work. So I loved this conversation with Crystal. This really embodies one of the things that I have loved about running Heart on Main Street. I have made so many friends, and this has given me the ability to connect with them and allow them to talk about something that they love. And while I had a professional relationship with Crystal prior to starting this organization, she has become a dear friend. And I feel like we were just able to have a conversation about something that she's passionate about and wants others to know more about too. And I hope that comes through with this conversation. So without further ado, here is my chat with Crystal Vilkaitis of Crystal Media about AI usage for retailers. Crystal, welcome back to the Main Street Matters webinar. You were one of our very first guests way back last March. We were talking about social media strategies for retailers, which I know is right up your alley, your forte with Crystal Media. However, as we've been talking over the last year, I know you have so many other interests and things that you are exploring and learning more about to help independent retailers grow their business, and AI being one of them. Whenever we get together, I always feel like I could just kind of say, tell me about AI, and you will blow my mind with information. So I'm extremely excited for our conversation today, to pick your brain a little bit, to hear from our audience, and for you to enlighten all of us with your knowledge. So no pressure on that. We'll start out small and we'll grow from there. Sound good?
Beautiful. I love it. Let's do it.
All right, let's go. So AI, as we will be talking about today, is in its relative infancy. I think really kind of burst onto the scene 2-ish years ago. If it was a human, it probably still wouldn't be able to dress itself. So how would you define AI as we see it now in the concept that we think of AI now?
Yeah, I mean, this industry is wild. It's a mind-blowing industry because of how quickly things have evolved. And, AI, artificial intelligence, has been around since I think the 50s, as early as the
Right.
50s. But then in 2022, November, is when ChatGPT was released. And that was sort of like the beginning of us really using these tools in everyday situations. Like anybody can use it. And now all of a sudden it's the accessibility that we have where you can use AI to brainstorm marketing, your social media plan, write copy for you. You could tell it you are the best copywriter, build me a caption or product descriptions for my products on my website to help me sell them. Like you have access. And I think of it a lot as like these big box companies who would have big teams doing
Right.
a lot for them from like PR and marketing and copy and brainstorming and ideas and execution and research. And now all of a sudden, every single person for free can have access to that type of information. And so AI makes up a lot of things. I mean, it can be copy and writing copy and ideas, it can be imagery, it can be video creation. And what it is turning into and these tools that are becoming available for us all is really mind blowing to me. The CEO of OpenAI, which OpenAI created ChatGPT, which
Okay.
most of us know, and put in the chat, are you using
Yeah.
ChatGPT? Yes or no? I would love to know, and you might be using Gemini, which so you could also say Gemini, maybe you're using a different AI tool. But I think a lot of us know ChatGPT at this point. Like a lot of us
See,
have been
that's
using
kind of
it
become the common name out
for
there.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure it
Vicky
has.
Vicky says Chat GPT, Aaron saying Chat GPT.
Yeah.
Yep, so we have a couple. Yeah. So I feel like, yeah,
Okay.
it's a little
So
bit more of the common name it's become.
it is. And there's so much more. Like Christy says Gemini.
Okay.
I think Poe is another one. Those are kind of the top threes. U.com, Nancy has in here. So like we all kind of have our own AI tools that we're going to, except for Ron. He says, no, I don't, I have not used Eddie yet. So Ron,
Good. Gets a lot
maybe
of
by
run
the end
play.
of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would recommend ChatGPT, but so OpenAI is a company and one of their products is ChatGPT. And the CEO, Sam Altman, I watched this video. I was at this conference this weekend, and a big part of it was AI. And I watched this video of Sam who was saying, we're going to look back on today and say, God, I can't believe how hard things were. And that blew my mind. Like if you think about what we do in our everyday, it made me think of maps. Like when I go somewhere, I have Google Maps, right? It's so easy for me to get around. And I would think about this. I remember back when I was a child and we would do road trips and we would have a paper map and we had to figure that out. Now it's just so incredibly easy to go places and find places you've never been before. It's so easy. And so I ask, like, gosh, how do we ever do this before? Maps. Well, now what Sam and his teams and these engineers, what everybody is working on, we're going to look at today's world and say, we were working way too hard. And for me,
You had to
that's a,
write
yeah,
everything all by
we did.
yourself, right?
Exactly. We had to write things, but like, Patrick, let me just give you an example, like really, crazy example. Apple, you can now control Apple devices. This is being rolled out with your eyes. So
Okay.
you don't need to use your finger. It will monitor where your eyes are going to then
Oof.
click on things, open things, access things. So we could be thinking
That's
like,
nuts. So
it's
you could
not.
just like look at the app and it will pop open. Oh
Yep.
my gosh. Okay.
Because so we'll be thinking, gosh, we actually had to use our hands. We had to click on things before.
Wow.
Like, yeah, it's pretty crazy. So that's where we're kind of like going. We're here now, but it's moving really, really fast. These tools are becoming available. Some of them are here. So it's a pretty crazy world. Yeah. And Sandy put in here too Bard, which has been renamed. It's a great tool. Yeah, I believe that Gemini is now Bard. It was
Okay.
Google Bard, and now that's Gemini. So great, great tools. So it sounds like our crowd has some familiarity here, which is
Good.
good.
Yeah. I do feel like we're at a point where there's been a lot of AI tools that have been released, and some of them are getting bought up by others. And so you will see that Gemini is Bard is Gemini now, or Gemini is Bard. You kind of have some buying of technology, and with any new industry, that happens. If you think, beginning of cars, there's 100 different car brands. Then it's like, you see with electric cars now, there's all of these different types of electric cars, and they will kind of start to condense into some of your major brands. But so you'll see that a lot with AI. So if you're using one technology, one platform, and it gets bought up, or becomes part of another, because it is in its infancy. It is
Yeah.
so new. And again, kind of how we're thinking about this AI. Has there been video thus far? So, I mean, yeah, we could jump into that if you want to kind of hit on video real quick.
Yeah. I mean, Josh, if you're saying, can you use AI to create video? You sure can. We have a conference called Evolve. Patrick was there. I demoed some of these tools that you can do and use that where just based on a prompt, like Dalmatian dog walking through the streets of Spain with, on a sunny day, and that can come to life. And that tool that I used, well, oh, he was
Oh,
referring to
video.
the
Yes.
meeting. This is so funny.
Yes, this is being recorded. If you miss any part of this, you will receive a link to the recording after later today. So
I love it. Yeah, that's so funny. Christy's laughing at
active
that too.
chat. I love it. Thank you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I love active chat.
Yeah.
So keep it coming. This is great.
But to your point, I've seen it was like an early 2023 AI video versus an early 2024 AI video, and the comparison between them is, and it's like the one now looks HD, it looks great, everything's crisp and clear, and I'm sure 2025's it's going to be like, oh, 2024's was, you have stick figures in comparison.
For sure.
But yeah, it's a huge evolution just in that 1 year.
Yeah, I mean, like last year, people had like six fingers and eyes that were
Eyebrows.
messed up, and like you could really tell. Now you can't tell.
Yeah.
And Tyler Perry, who is an actor and he's making movies, he was going to invest in a movie set in Atlanta, spending $800 million on it, and decided to stop doing that because he saw what AI can do. So
Wow.
the B-roll, like you don't need to have a drone that's going out to take the images or videos of the mountain scene as the car is racing. Like you can do all this with AI. And I just want to like kind of bring it, we're in a way we're kind of jumping ahead, but I just want to bring this to a retailer because you might be saying like, well, what does that matter for my business? And the thing is that these tools, they can create videos based on a prompt that you can then be using for social media, for a commercial. You could do a voiceover. You could have a YouTube ad. There are ways that you can use this that it represents you, your customers, your products, your town, whatever kind of message you're trying to convey, without hiring any kind of videographer and the equipment, and that is so expensive to do. So I open this by saying AI now is so accessible. It really is, to every single person, to use it in both personal and business.
Yeah. And you talk to your Chat GPT is free. So if kind of the
Yep.
basic package is absolutely free, there is, you can pay, and version I have is $200 for the year. Like that's extremely affordable, and you get a lot more added onto that, for image creation, and just a more robust engine for it to search. And so for the year, like that's an incredibly affordable, accessible thing for people to have access to.
It is. Well, and Patrick, I don't know if you saw the announcement last week, but there's now ChatGPT 4.0.
Oh,
So
no. Okay.
let's make it complicated. Thanks, ChatGPT. So you've got ChatGPT 3.5, which is free. You have ChatGPT 4.0, which is new, also free. You can be
Okay.
limited in the amount of queries you're doing, but it is a kind of a more sophisticated than 3.5. 4.0 can recognize faces, so pictures, video. You can use it and have it and talk to it. Audio, it can understand audio and talk back to you. So no longer do you have to be typing and using those type prompts. You can say your prompts or questions. But then even with the video, it can recognize emotions. So it could say like, "Oh, Crystal, you look sad today," or, "Oh, you look like you got great news. What's going on?" Like it can recognize the room that you're in and guess like what's going on based off of what it visually is seeing. So that's their upgraded model with 4.0. And
That's
then you've
better than
got
some people that I know. I mean, that's like,
yeah, totally. It's so true. And then you have ChatGPT 4.0, and that
okay,
is the
that's different.
paid version.
Hmm.
So that's the one that you have, Patrick. Very, low cost. That is going to open up access to some of these third-party apps that people have made so you can better use ChatGPT. These apps can you can upload a PDF and it can summarize that PDF for you. It can go online and summarize websites. It can generate images for you. So that's where the paid version comes into play. But just to, and Patrick, I can send you the link if anybody is curious on watching that. It's a 20-minute announcement video to see what 4.0 can do. I think it's really important for us all to watch it and understand because whether you're using it in your store or not, this is happening.
Yeah.
Like it's here, it's happening, and we need to understand what's available and how we may use it and leverage it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. If you mind sending me that link, then I'll
Yeah.
send it out into the email for registrants. I think that would be fantastic. So we've hit on a couple different types or brands that are. I mean, it seems like everyone is creating a form of AI, Canva and Photoshop. And can you talk about some of those programs that do already exist and really what they specialize in, or how you could use those?
Yep. So ChatGPT is going to be my go-to. ChatGPT or Gemini are great for your copy, for your planning, like your social media plan, your marketing plan. If you want to run ideas by it, those types of prompts where you're getting back information done for you, kind of copywriting, things like that. But I do want to say something that's really important because as we have more people that are writing copy with AI, these websites are trying to regulate it. And this is where it's like regulation is just, I mean, I don't even know how this is going to happen, but we need regulation.
Right.
And
Because
so
there's no rules
Google,
written.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's like the wild, wild west right now. It's really crazy. And so Google, you know, if you have a blog or if you sell online, you want to show up in search results, right? Like we want when people are searching for our website to show up. So if you're writing copy using AI and you're not tweaking that, you're not humanizing it, you're not making it your own in some way, you can it doesn't mean you're guaranteed this will happen, but you could not be displayed in organic search results and
Mm,
basically like blocked from Google search results if you are
interesting.
just using AI as copy. So a great tool, and I can also post this in the chat. It's called gpt0.me, and you're going to spell out the word zero. So gpt0.me. And you can use that. So if you're using ChatGPT or Gemini to create that copy for you, let's say you're writing a blog post. I kind of feel like blogging's back. It's
Yeah.
like it was really hot, now then it kind of died, and now it's back. And blogging's a really great way to generate website traffic. And you use those blogs to promote on your social media, and you pin those, and it just drives traffic back to you. So, if you're having AI help you with the blog post, you're going to want to, this is the order I would recommend that you do it. Number one, you would have a paid GPT account and you would create a custom GPT that is your brand tone, like it's your brand guide. And we have that here at Crystal Media. So what I did is I have a paid account. I clicked on my custom GPT create. It's so easy to create, you guys. I promise it's so easy. And then you just start feeding it information. And so I said, you're going to be our brand tone guide. Employees are going to write copy using you. Here's how we say things. Here's the words we use. Here's the words we don't use. Here's the type of style and the tone. avoid this. Then I went and all of our sales pages that I've already looked at and I've written, I pasted all that copy in there. Here's
Okay.
how, so it's learning, right? You're teaching the AI how to speak like you. And so then so you have that custom GPT that you then create your blog post using. You want to read it, make sure it sounds like you, and then I would still go in and humanize it some. Like I joke, I like to say holy guacamole, like
Yeah.
add some personality and make sure it sounds like you and it sounds like a human because we do know the difference. Like you can read something from AI and you're like this was totally AI generated.
No human uses that word, right? Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
And I think, we're smart. Like we can notice that. A quick sidestep. I was a judge for lighting showroom awards and there were
Huh.
14 different nominees that I was reading their applications. One out of the 14 used AI. I could
Okay.
tell. Like,
Yeah.
and I did not pick them because it felt lazy. It's like this I need you to actually enter, like, why do you want to win this award? So us humans, we're smart. We're going to get it. So you use your brand voice, you modify it still so it's humanized. Then you're going to use that tool I just talked about, gpt0.me, and you could paste in the blog and it's going to tell you if it thinks it's generated by AI or a human.
Hmm.
So before we're publishing anything on our website, those product descriptions, our blog posts, about pages, I don't want anybody getting blocked by Google. Like that could be the death of your website. So I want you to use these tools to streamline and help you, but don't get blocked. So use something like a grader like that, like an automation or an AI grader that can tell you. And if it says it's AI, you need to work on it more so it sounds more like a human.
And so when you were talking about creating that custom GPT and the words that we use, the words that we don't use, like how specific do you have to be with that? I was kind of thinking like that could be a lot of work, or I'm like, what is the? I mean, how specific are you needing to be?
I would get as specific as possible. And here's the thing, this could build over time too. So let's say that you use it like I built mine and then I had it write something for me and it did not sound like our voice at all. So I said, this doesn't sound like us at all. Try
Hmm.
again. I was very like honest with it. And then it came back and I was like, this was way better. So one thing you have to know with AI is they have these what are called hallucinations. And so they will sometimes do the wrong thing, give the wrong information. So this is why like actually checking sources if you're using it from a research perspective. So hallucinations can happen. So make sure you're still reading through. But then this is a process. Like you might be using your GPT and it comes through and it says, it says the word I wish I knew a word. There's words that'll happen. I'm like, I would never ever say that. I don't talk
Right.
like that.
Right.
You know? So then you say to it, I would never say that word. Like, and be that specific.
Okay.
Like never use that word in anything. As the more specific, the
So
better.
like a trial and error kind of, hey,
Yeah,
I noticed this, don't use that. And okay, so you don't have to have like, here are all of the words that I do use, and these are words that I
right.
don't use. Okay, gotcha.
Exactly. You got
So
it.
chat GPT, I mean, great for writing copy. You even talked about social media plans, scheduling things for you. It can create charts, it can create calendars for you. What other kind of purposes have you seen used for chat GPT?
Yeah, if there's a long article, like a trends report that just came out in your industry, and you're like, oh my gosh, I love this, but it takes so long to read, you could take that
Mm,
link and have it summarize what are the highlights of this article. Maybe you then want to take those trends and turn it into social media content, then say, okay, based on these trends, give me 5 reels ideas. Then maybe you don't know how to start your reels. And we know that the beginning of a reel is so important because we want to hook people. So then you say, okay, I always say thank you and please because we never know what the robots are going
yeah,
to do. So
we want to be on
you
the good side. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. So you say, thank you. Can you please write me 5 hooks for these videos that captures the attention within the first 3 seconds? I mean, it can give you all breaking down all the content for you. Going back to copy, if you need to write any of your SOPs, this is where having another custom GPT where you could have your SOPs in there. So all your policies, your systems, anytime a new employee is hired, they could go in there, they could ask questions because they're in training and they don't know certain
Mm.
things, right? What is our return policy? How do I submit for paid time off if I'm going to have a vacation or a request or whatever? You could have a GPT that you've loaded all that information in. Now they just chat and boom, that information comes back to them
Wow.
quickly versus like having to read the handbook. So, have it be digitized, first of all, which ChatGPT could help you write that. And then you could create that GPT, the custom GPT, so it's easy for your team to use. If you're writing employees up, or if you have to respond to a negative review, like some of those emotional things that we have to write, this
Mm.
can really help just be like straightforward, just tell it like respond to this review very, professionally as a friend, like have your kind of your tone, and then it's going to respond for you, tweak it a little bit, and then boom, that's done. It's easy. Press releases are great. So lots of things you can do. Oh, email subject lines, text
Mm.
messages, like all of that, you can have it write a couple different text messages or subject lines, and then you test those to see what's getting the better open rate.
Okay.
So much you can do with that. And then, of course, like from a design perspective, you mentioned Canva, and Canva's got like their magic editor. They've got AI tools now where based on a prompt, my favorite is a French bulldog on the moon because I have French bulldogs. And it will like and you could say what style, if you want it watercolor or anime or whatever, and it can draw you these AI pictures that are really good. So, if you like have a pet shop and your mascot is a French bulldog, you can have this bulldog in different scenarios and create it within a matter of seconds that can tie to the brand, but be interesting on social stuff that people aren't seeing,
Yeah.
like that really stand out and stop the scroll. So it can create those images for you. It can also create like the video for you, the
Okay.
reel, some of that like B-roll type stuff. They've got a lot of pre-done things that you can add in that are template based, not necessarily AI, but just template based that makes, saves you a lot of time.
Right.
Another thing that I love in Canva is you can make your own song. So
I didn't know that. Yeah.
yeah, like based on the prompt you give, you can work with it to create the melody, the beats, and then also you can use ChatGPT to write the lyrics, and then you could have like a theme song for your store, or
Jingle. You have
yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
exactly. Make a little jingle for the radio ad that's going out this summer, or which
Oh.
yes, I did say radio. Some people are still using radio.
Great for the car. Absolutely.
Exactly. But maybe the radio, Spotify or Pandora, don't forget about those apps. You can absolutely advertise there and you can use AI to build that whole ad for you. Like you could even have AI do the audio for it. So there's just, I mean, you think of it and it's available almost. It's pretty nuts.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
That's so yeah. And those great for video, for pictures, other platforms that that you know of that are that are good for different purposes. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So Pika.art, which I'll also put this in the chat, but it's PIKA.art. It's going to be one of those tools that you can create the video based off of the prompt. So, you could say, this is top of mind for me because one of their examples kind of shows like a salad falling. So, like if you were a restaurant and you had
Yeah.
a new
Yeah.
salad that was coming out that featured strawberries, like a summer salad, you could have the prompt be this video that shows the ingredients of the salad, and that could be your new commercial to announce that. So Pika is something that you can use to generate those. ChatGPT has its own version that they're working on called Sora, Sora. It's
Okay.
way better than Pika in my opinion. It's so nuts. You can go to YouTube and put in Sora to see videos about what it can do. Today as we're filming this, we don't have access to it, not us regular people, but this is something that we will have access to soon. Pika is a good option for it for right now. And then another one is Maverick, which is trymaverick.com. And I demoed this at Evolve too. Basically, what happens is you will do a video of yourself once. And let's say that you have an e commerce website and you want to do a video that is sent to people after they make a purchase online. So it's very humanized and personal. And so you do a video once. It's like, hey, Patrick, thanks for shopping with us. We're so excited for what you ordered. Be sure to just take a picture and share it on Instagram, tag us. You could win. We pull monthly winners every month, and let's stay connected there. You say it once, but then through AI, all you got to do is just put in who's the new name. So instead of Patrick, it's now Jenny. You've got your different customers that just purchased, and the cadence of voice, it all sounds the same. And so it's a way to like clone yourself
It
to,
was pretty, yeah, when you showed that at Evolve, it was pretty crazy that
yeah,
the way the mouth moved, it didn't look like, Jenny comes out, yet you're saying Patrick, multiple different
exactly.
syllables. It looked natural. And yeah, one time you're done. It takes 30 seconds to film this that you can then send it out to every purchase that forever, which is
Exactly.
crazy. Yeah.
Because then, yeah, you just you have a VA who is like, hey, here's the list of everybody that bought today. Send out the video. And they're like, okay, this goes, they just changed the name and that goes out for people. It's pretty incredible. I'm sure that with AI and some sort of automation soon, they will be able to read the person's name, plug it in automatically, send out the video. You won't need a person to do it. But even things like abandoned cart is another way you could use
Mhm.
that, where they added it to their cart, but they never checked out. And so all of a sudden, tonight they're getting a video from you saying, hey, be sure to get your purchase. We sell out really fast, or it might not be there. Like add some sort of FOMO. If you could check in again and add a coupon code if you wanted to do something like that and test a different message. But that's another example of what you could do, which is pretty incredible. And then I also demoed, oh, I don't have it top of mind right now of what this is called, but you can take any kind of video and it will translate for you. So, I'm going to France for my honeymoon, and maybe I'll pick up some Rooted in Retail listeners. We've got a podcast called Rooted in Retail. And so you can use this tool. I'll find it and we could send it in the replay email, Patrick. I'll send it to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
You just put that in, and all of a sudden it translates my entire video into French. And so you can just, if you have any clients, if you're trying to break into a different market that's not English speaking, you can have your videos actually be in any kind of language so fast,
Wow.
which is really crazy. It's
Or
just
if
it's
you're, yeah,
and
in an area that is bilingual, you have
exactly.
Spanish and English. You don't do Spanic, but so yeah, it can automatically translate it for you. That's crazy. That's uh,
Exactly. And David's his comment here says ChatGPT 4.0 has a feature to do live translation as well with two people talking. So, David,
wow.
thanks for chatting that in, because I'm going to France, right? And I'm like, oh, I could just totally use ChatGPT to, if I'm speaking to somebody and I don't know, I can chat into it because it now recognizes audio, like I was saying earlier. So I can talk to it. It translates to the other person and will say it out loud in their language. And then we can now speak back and forth through AI, which I mean,
Yeah.
it's so cool.
Yeah. I love that, just the ability to bring people together and connect
Yep,
and have that, break down the barriers for communication with that. So there was a
exactly.
question in the Q&A of just kind of recapping the different platforms we talked about. So Maverick was video that allows you to make a small change. You can do the video once. We talked Pika is another video platform. ChatGPT, Canva has its own. Gemini is a similar to ChatGPT. Is that correct?
Yep. It's
Okay.
Google's ChatGPT.
Google's. Okay, gotcha. And again, you will see, I see commercials all the time for Photoshop has their own. If you take a picture, you highlight it, you say, I think their thing is like a jungle, and then you put a jaguar in there. And so I mean, yeah, like it seems like every technology company is coming out with their own. So
They are.
yeah,
Well, and
excellent.
that's the thing, ChatGPT, through these custom GPTs and having an open AI, people can easily build these things so fast. And chat can also code. So it's like we've just really minimized the time it takes to build these apps and these websites. And so that's why we're seeing so many pop up now, because the technology just got way
Gotcha.
easier.
Okay, so they're
Yeah.
using each other to build the code to that's yeah. So exponential growth with that.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
so that kind of leads there's so much. Oh my gosh, there is so much. It is an overwhelming amount. If I'm a retailer that I don't use this already, I'm probably sitting there thinking like, this is I mean, is this even I know I need to go down it, but like where do I even start to experiment and try this? What
Yep.
would be your recommendation?
Totally. So I would go to ChatGPT, create a free account, and start putting in some of those prompts. So if you think about your store, if there's anything that's coming up, like an event or a sale, you could just start there and say, "Hey, I've got this event that's coming up. Please give me uh, email copy to promote it with the subject line and a social media plan to promote it." Like, you can start very simple with just some of those timely things that are happening for you. Or maybe sales are low, so you're like, "Hey, I own this kind of store in this location and sales are down. What kinds of things would you recommend that I try to see more people coming in? Or why do you think sales might be down?" The key is just using it. When you go to these platforms, they'll have some prompts right there that you could just click on just to start seeing how it works. And then you can talk back and forth to it and start getting a feel for that information. And what happens every single time is, then you're like, "I wonder what it will do when I do this. I wonder what it will," and then you just keep going. And I've heard from so many retailers who are like, "I didn't go to bed till 3 a.m. last night because I was using this." So you could use ChatGPT and try Gemini also, like, especially if you're a Google person, you can use those two to see which one you like better. I really like ChatGPT. That's my go-to. So that's the one I'm using. The other thing I'll say, now you have to have a paid account, but I'm posting a link in the chat and then we'll send it out with the replay. At Crystal Media, I created a custom GPT that is called the 30 post framework to help you build your social media content ideas out based off of our training. So, based off of documenting, SMART goals, the right kind of content types to create content for, being really focused on the problem, like how you're solving problems for your customers. We want the solution, the problem and solution to be in that content, in your social media content. So I've trained that GPT. And if you use that, that's a way to get started too. You can just use some of the prompts that are already built for you, or you can start talking to that GPT and get some information for your store that's more about store marketing, a store, than kind of general. You do have to have a paid account to use that though. So as we're filming today, to create a custom GPT or to use a custom GPT, you have to have the paid account, which is about 20 bucks a month. And that's not me charging that. That's just
Right.
ChatGPT is
Right.
charging that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love the custom GPTs. I think there is, great potential with that. I was on a website a couple weeks ago, and on the side pops up, questions, can I help you navigate, whatever, and typed in, and it said like basically this is the owner's kid, like they use the name that blah, blah. I'm like, no, it's not, I know that. And I'd ask a question, it would pop up right away. So it wasn't the owner's kid sitting right there, but it made it feel much more personal. It made it feel, they're using their wording, they were using their guidance, everything about their brand was built in there, answering it in the way that they would want to. And it just, yeah, it was, I knew it, but at the same time, it was this like a much more personable aspect to the kind of question thing on the side that pops up that you can type in. So yeah, I think
Totally.
there's great potential with the custom GPTs for retailers to use. So
For sure. Well, and that too, you're talking about a chat bot. So
yes,
this is
yeah,
something I really recommend retailers have, especially if you sell online, because the chat bot, now only have it if it's going to be up to date. Like, you've spent some
yeah,
time building this bot out, because you don't want the customer to be frustrated if it's really limited, it has no information, it hasn't been updated. But you're seeing more and more websites in general, not just retail, that have
Yeah.
bots because it is easier now with AI. So you can build that, depending on your website, they might have that ability just built in to do your bot. I'm sure Shopify has it or has apps that they work with that. ManyChat is another app that you can check out and do that bot. You can also carry that into your Facebook Messenger and Instagram DMs where they're talking. So, like, let's say you post some new summer arrivals and you say, comment below summer, and we'll send you a special gift or special, percentage off, a
Yeah.
code, or the newest trends for summer, whatever you're sending them. But you just say, comment summer, and we'll send it to you. So then when they comment, if they're on Facebook or on Instagram and on that post they comment summer, then it triggers that bot to send them whatever that thing is. What's great is that you're getting the engagement. They're engaging by commenting, and that helps from an algorithm perspective for them to see more of your posts. And now you're getting this conversation going with them with the word summer. Now, here's your thing. Now you can start following up and communicating with them through that bot too. So there's so many opportunities there, but that's all AI can help you generate a lot of those responses and those conversations.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that on social media and that kind of growing of, yeah,
Yeah,
if you comment this and you'll receive this in your DM. So,
exactly.
all of that is related to growth of AI technology, which is pretty
Yeah,
cool. Yeah.
it is. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
So, and it sounds like we have so kind of from a starting standpoint, getting in there and asking prompts and really kind of getting your feet wet and growing. Sounds like we have some people on here that are a little bit more experienced. What would you love to see them try and do and grow within AI?
So, so Josh,
Oh
for the
yeah,
chat
yeah.
bots, I mentioned ManyChat, and I'm looking to see. I have notes over here too. I'm looking to see if I have that in here. I don't know if I linked to ManyChat, but I think it's just ManyChat.com is a bot tool, and that is something that would be my recommendation to answer this question, Patrick, is because the bots are a little bit more advanced. Like,
Okay.
if you do spend some time on having them have a personality and that fits your brand and your store, and how are they communicating to the customer on your website. So that could be a way that you're kind of a little bit more advanced. I'll also say, um, our friends at Management One and Retail Mavens, uh, th- they have open to buy technology, which is based off of AI. So
Okay.
using that technology, they can focus on the data. What is trending, what's not selling, what is selling, what do you need to buy more of, what do you need to get rid of now? Like, the
Wow.
data is so critical to your inventory, and I'm not an expert there, but I know that Management One and that software is something that it's not necessarily advanced, but I will say our more sophisticated and our more successful retailers that we work with use Management One. They have some sort of inventory tracking that they're looking at the data, and the data is collected through AI. So that's definitely an area for them to focus on. And then just using these tools to create more interesting social media content, like we talked about earlier, for your reels, where you can actually kind of tell a story through AI generated video, or you can create more different, images that connect to your brand and pull your brand through, but that really speak to your customers. That is AI generated, that just stands out, that stops the scroll, that connects. Like, there are ways you could kind of elevate the content and be engaging and interesting. This doesn't necessarily fit for everybody, but there are these tools now that you can just use to really elevate your content. And so some of the more advanced retailers, I would say, are using some of those for their reels, their videos, their just their images. And I want to do a call out because I think it was Kurt asked about creating a logo. And so, Kurt, you could do that in having a paid account with ChatGPT. So you just basically want the prompt to say, You're the best graphic designer in the world. You're hired to create a logo for, enter your store name. Here are if you already have the color codes, you want to give the codes, but if you don't have those colors, you can coach it on what you want the colors to be, the look, the feel, the vibe. And then ask, do you have any questions for me before you begin? But what you're going to use in there is Dolly 3. So you have to say using Dolly dash 3, DALLE dash 3. And so just by putting that in your prompt, because you have the paid account, it's going to trigger Dolly that, oh, I have to create an image based off of this prompt. And so that's how you could do a logo. One thing I played around, in all aspects of ChatGPT, and logos tend to be tribal looking. Like, I don't know,
Interesting.
whoever built these AI, they really focus on tribal logos. So have it do, the first swing, and then you could be like, okay, that's too tribal. Like, give it the feedback. What I
Yeah.
want it to be more modern, more clean, more whimsical, whatever it is that you're wanting. Really coach it on getting that logo. So that's an option for you.
It
There's
just,
also another logo site that I can add, Patrick, that we can
yeah.
include in the notes.
Okay. Yeah. And commenting on what you were just saying, I really like that aspect of it doesn't have feelings. Like, you can tell them, like, you
Exactly.
completely missed the mark on this, and please, go back and redo this, and I want it this way, this way, this way. And you don't have to go through the working through, is this going to make them feel bad, or they're just gonna, within 10 more seconds, they're gonna spit out another copy.
Yep.
And no, still missed the mark. Yeah, I want you to continue working, can make this better. And it'll put out another one too. So
Yeah, it's so true. And here's the deal too. If you just can't get it to exactly where you want it to be, because that can be hard. And especially when we're talking about something like a logo,
yeah,
that's pretty important. Have it be really close. And then you could go to
yeah,
fiverr.com, which has two R's, Fiverr.com, or Upwork, and you hire a graphic designer. You say, here, it's really close. Here's what I don't like about it. Here's the prompts I put in, so like what I'm trying to achieve. Can you just help me? Then the human can get you all the way there, and it's going to be way less time and money because the AI did most of the work for you.
yeah, yeah. Great. Yeah, combine the usage of, get it 95% of the way there, and then turn it over and have them tweak it and make it the way that you want it.
Exactly.
What are
Awesome.
some of the more innovative things that you've seen retailers use AI for?
Yeah, so this is going to be a little more big box, but it's
Yeah.
going to be coming.
Okay. Yeah. No, but that's still things that we can learn from big box, and what they're doing
Exactly.
is, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, like, there's robots stocking shelves, like, in stores today. There you
Yeah.
can go in and you'll have somebody, there's nobody on the machine, it's just a machine that is going and stocking shelves. And through so there's technology that can tell, RFID tags that can tell, if the inventory is running low, if we're out. And so connecting that and having a robot that goes stocks, or just a notification to the team, hey, you got to go out. Like, you don't have to necessarily be walking the aisles to see what do we need. Technology can be notifying all of that through AI. Things that you'll see. This is a very common thing you'll see. It's not necessarily innovative, but I think that it will get more innovative based on, like, tracking us online. So, when you buy something, if that website has it turned on, if you're shopping online, you might also like, those
Yeah.
predictive analytics of what they think you would also buy. I think those are going to get a lot smarter, because I don't
Mm.
know about you, but like, it will display stuff. And I'm like, how are you even correlating
I'm
these
not
things?
I'm not
You
interested in
know?
that, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not, no.
Yeah, and we're going to become a lot more omni-channel, where, however I'm searching on whatever I'm looking at on social, and I'm searching online, and now I'm buying online, and we're really going to they're going to know who we are. And again, we'll see what happens from a regulation
Right.
standpoint. I get it that that needs to happen. And if we don't have certain tracking turned on, we might not get those types of results that really do match us. But I think the predictive um engines are going to get a lot better. We're already seeing them getting better. And then augmented reality and virtual reality.
Mm.
It's still, I've been talking about this for several years now, and it's still not great. But there are stores where, you can shop from your home if you have a VR set on. And it's like you're walking through the aisles. And I demo an example of this with Walmart, where all of a sudden somebody pops up and she can help you. For some reason, they're in like the wine aisle. And I don't know, like maybe I'm a wine snob. I'm not really buying my wine
That
at
might be
Walmart.
fed. Yeah, that might be a specific crystal thing,
It
but
might be a specific crystal thing. But then, like, all of a sudden, this robot lady on the screen of your VR set while you're sitting at home can help you with the wines. Think about that. Like, a typical Walmart employee does not have the education of all the wines. There's so much to learn when it comes to wine, but this robot lady in my VR set knows what you're looking for. So those types of things, Amazon has done things where special like days where you can go with your VR set and things are on sale, and you're just sitting there and you're swiping through shopping. Augmented reality where you're wearing the items. So Sephora is known for this, where through Facebook or their app or online, you can try different shades of lipstick and blush. Through That's all considered augmented reality or AR. Or Nike, you can try on shoes, through the app, or through Snapchat. You can have those different shoes come up and try them on and see if you like those and purchase. So those are very innovative things. We can also use technology, apps, and augmented reality to see like, how will this chair look in my room, right? If we're searching for furniture, the lighting, or will I like this bracelet on? Like, so those are definitely innovative things, but I think that we have a little ways to go with the quality.
sure. Yeah, and to your point of yes, big box is using that and your big brands, but that technology is becoming more and more accessible, and
Exactly.
it probably isn't too far away until I don't know, Shopify or something builds to your website where yeah, would you want to be able to try on that necklace or see those pillows on your couch? That's probably not that far away.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. And one other thing I'll add, this blew my mind because I saw this video over the weekend at this conference. So it's this video of one guy who has two phones, and they're both on speaker. And this phone, he says, "Hey, AI," it's like his AI, um, "I need you to call and return this item that I bought online. It came damaged. It was like a phone that he bought, came damaged, and I need you to call and say it was damaged. I need a new phone." Calls, and they're talking to each other. And on the other line, of course, it's a big box, so it's a robot that you're talking to try to get to who you need to do. And you're having your bot talk to the bot or the customer service agent to get what you need done. Imagine the frustration you can save.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
I mean, isn't it
Yeah.
insane? And so basically, like, they talk, they do this whole thing, they work it all out. And it asks like, "Hey," the bot comes back, I think his name is John or something, "Hey John, is it okay if they send it tomorrow?" And like, just to confirm with him. And he's like, "Yep." Otherwise he doesn't have to do anything. And that goes back to like how I started this, where Sam Altman was saying, we're going to look back and say we had it so hard. Like, how did we actually made phone calls and were on customer support for 30 minutes, like trying to figure something out. Our AIs can do that now. Our bots, we're going to just give them the information that we have, right? And then they can go figure that out for us. So I think that there are innovative ways that retailers can use that to save them time if they're having refunds or things like that, and then maybe even integrate that in somehow to talk to their customers too.
Very cool. Well, last question before we open up for some Q&A. And so it touched on a little bit already, but jump forward 10 years. And I'm not going to ask you to predict what AI will do because I don't know if we necessarily can, or regulations and but what do you think will just be commonplace that is now not? What do you think will just be kind of built into our everyday lives?
Yeah. I mean, that's a really hard question because I even feel like 10 years feels so far away. So much can happen. Like, are we still around? Did the robots kick us out by
Has the
then? Like,
robot
what's going on?
revolution happened?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And even like some of the stuff I'm gonna say that it could happen in a year, it could happen less, with how fast things are happening. But the whole AR, VR, I do think we're a few years out from that, like from the adoption, from people like really wanting to shop on a VR set and from how good the quality can be,
Yeah.
but it's coming. And so is that 2 year, 5 year, 10 year? I'm not sure, but I definitely put that a little further out. Um, on my list for this was being able to read emotions, but now that's already
That's
happening.
that's that's gonna
Like,
be, yeah, next week. So yeah,
yeah,
wow.
and I mean, it's here now. Chat GPT 4.0 can read your emotions. There's another site that I demoed where you talk to it. Now you can do that with 4.0, so you don't need the other site, but where I would say my prompt and it would give me ideas. And I was just having a conversation with the bot, and I told it, like, I want you to be more enthusiastic. And so all of a sudden it was more enthusiastic. And like, I think that these bots are going to start matching our tone without us asking.
Mm,
So it's going to recognize, oh, you're really tired. I'm going to try to make this really simple, or like, hey, have you had a really long day? Like, I think that they make care quotes, right? Like
interesting.
care
Yeah.
actually be able to pick up and mirror our emotions to be super helpful for us in whatever we're trying to request. Um, the fact that what's coming, being able to move stuff with our eyes, like operate technology with our eyes, I mean, that's just going to become bigger.
That opens up a whole other can of worms of just,
Yeah.
yeah, what you could do with that.
Yeah, exactly. Um, I think that we'll see more storefronts. And again, I don't think this is 10 years. I think it's sooner, but more storefronts doing more immersive experiences with products or virtual fitting rooms or things that kind of integrate more product or more engagement or more things to do in the store, like more experience based in the store, using this technology. And who knows, like you might be able to just walk into a store and it already knows so much about you, and it's already has like a rack of clothes that the robot pulled for you for your next speaking gig, that it's like knows you and your sizes and the time of year and what you want and where you're going and what the temperature is going to be like where you're going, and it's just already done that for you. You just need to make sure the fit is good. I mean, that
That's
would be
not out
pretty
of the realm of
convenient.
possibility, right? I mean, that's not a, like,
No,
as we're talking, that's not an impossible thing. So
not at all. And again, I don't think that's a 10-year thing. I really do hope that we're getting enhanced data, security,
right.
privacy, like this needs to come. I talk about this a lot, but because these tools can now capture our voice and mimic our voice and can capture our facial expressions and mimic our facial expressions, a tool, Hey Gen, I've demoed that at Evolve, which is just Hey and then Gen, Gen, I think heygen.com. You upload video, just a 2 minute, and then all of a sudden you have your own video bot of yourself that is really good. And I'm concerned about people taking other people's identity. I have a lot of
Yes.
content out there. People could all of a sudden create a bot out of me and say stuff that I never said, and
Yep.
really could, and people could believe it. And that's the thing. People are believing it. I'm seeing this happen, the fake news, but this isn't even fake
Yeah.
news. This is just like completely stealing identities and making things up, and consumers are lazy and they just believe it. So I do predict that's going to be on the rise. Hackers are going to be on the rise. And so it's important to have things in place for the protection of yourself and your business, that you are protected. But I don't know, Patrick, 10
Yeah.
years, it's
10 years,
crazy
I know,
thinking
right?
about it.
It was a big question, and
A
yeah,
big one.
obviously we have no idea, because just
Yeah,
everything is, I mean, in 2 years it has grown so much. But
it has.
to that point, I think it was just today, or maybe it was yesterday, Scarlett Johansson just came out of,
Uh-huh.
like, yeah, they've stolen my voice and they're using it for all these different things and without my permission. And yeah, so that's, I mean, if it's out there, hacker people could use that. So
Yep, they will. We're going to see a lot more of that coming through. So it's a
Yeah.
wild world.
Yeah.
It's
I'll
wild.
open up to some questions while people are typing or thinking of questions. Tell everybody where they can find you in your work.
Yeah, so crystalmediaco.com is our website, and we have a blog on there that we update every week with new social media information and keep you up to date. If you're an insider member of ours, I give monthly AI training. I just filmed one this morning. So some of the stuff we talked about, I actually demo and show you how to use, and we give you really great prompts. So you can learn more about insider membership on our site too. And finally, listen to Rooted in Retail, our
Ooh, yeah,
podcast. We talk about
absolutely.
AI on there and all sorts of retail stuff.
Yeah. And then you have a couple speaking engagements coming up. If people are going to those, where will you be?
Yeah, so Whizbang Training has their Retail Success Summit, which is in July, end of July. I think it's my 13th year attending and
Oh,
speaking.
all right.
So I will be there talking about AI. I'm actually going to demo some of the stuff we talked about today. It's going to be
Good.
pretty awesome to show. And then I'm also speaking at Super Zoo in August. If you're a pet store in Vegas, I'll be there. And also speaking for CCSA in September, ceramics and paint your own pottery stores. So
Yeah.
really excited to help.
Excellent. Crystal, my gosh, thank you so much. I always love talking to you, but this again, mind blowing of the different things that we can do with AI. So thank you for being on today and talking with us.
Totally. Thanks for having me, Patrick. We'll see
Absolutely.
where we're at in like 6 months.
Right.
We
Yeah.
should do this again and see what's going on. But everybody, the biggest thing is like jump on, learn it, understand it. It's really important to leverage these. And Vicky, you're welcome.
Thank you again, Crystal, for being here. I love our conversations. So,
Yes, thank
yeah.
you. Have a
Yeah,
great rest of your week.
yeah, absolutely. Take care, everybody. Thank you. All right, that was my interview with Crystal Vilkaitis of Crystal Media. If you'd like to watch this interview to see our beautiful faces or view any other webinar that we've conducted in the past, you can visit our website, heartonmainstreet.org. This episode was written, produced, researched, and edited by me, Patrick Kaiser, with a very special thanks to my guest, Crystal Vilkaitis. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. Have a great week, stay safe, shop small, and I'll see you next time.